Hi everyone, welcome to Chinese Pod. My name's Fiona.
My name's Gwilym. Today we have an elementary lesson and it's about being a bit difficult.
Rather, we're gonna learn some very high use, high frequency responses to people's questions. Now there's a couple here that are a bit rude because it's just like, whatever. But it is useful to learn. So we're gonna give you a couple of different examples today.
Now, before we begin, are there any words we should pre-teach?
Sure, let's look at whatever, which is 随便.
随便. That's a second
随
tone
便.
and a fourth tone.
That's right. And then how about, I have no opinion.
没建议.
没意见. 没意见.
Okay, so 意见 is opinion. 没 means not have. 没有意见.
That's right. Well, let's first set the scene for you guys. There's two friends. One's very eager. One's very indifferent. One's like, come on, let's do all these different things. And the other one's like, whatever, sure. So that's the kind of context of today's dialogue.
Okay, this will help when making plans for doing stuff at the weekend. So how about we listen to the dialogue?
好，那我们就来听听今天的对话。
周末出去玩好不好？
随便，
你想去哪里玩呢？
没意见。
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
都可以。
那我星期六早上开车到你家接你。
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
周末出去玩好不好？
随便。
你想去哪里玩呢？
没意见。
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
都可以。
那我星期六早上开车到你家接你。
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
Alright, let's start with the translations. 周末出去玩好不好？
We should do something at the weekend.
周末出去玩好不好？
We should go out at the weekend. What do you think?
随便，
Whatever.
随便。
Meh.
你想去哪里玩呢？
Where would you like to go?
你想去哪里玩呢？
Where would you like to go out?
没意见，
No opinion.
没意见。
I don't care.
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
We'll not be able to book train tickets right now, but I've booked a rental car, and that way it will be more convenient.
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
It won't be possible to get train tickets right now, but I'm gonna rent a car, and that way it will be more convenient.
都可以，
All good?
都可以。
Whatever you say.
那我星期六早上开车到你家接你。
Then I'll drive over to your house on Saturday morning and pick you up.
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
I don't want to. I've just decided that I'd like to spend the entire weekend sleeping.
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
Nah, I've just decided I think I'm gonna sleep all weekend.
Alright, let's break down the dialogue. Alright, let's start at the top of the dialogue. Now, this is a great phrase to ask, hey, do you want to do something on the weekend? 周末 is weekend, literally. 周末出去 that is to
Go out.
go out. 玩
Now this translates one for one as play, but what it actually means is just go out. So
have
if you're
fun, right?
if you're taking a trip out of the city, that would be 玩.
周末出去玩. Now, as an English speaker, it might seem a bit weird that adults are using the verb to play to describe activities, but this is perfectly normal in Mandarin. And actually, that's why sometimes when you hear Mandarin speakers speak English, they'll be like, oh, do you want to go out and play? And you're like,
Yeah, a bit weird.
that's a bit weird, right? But it's perfectly normal in Mandarin. 周末出去玩好不好?
Okay, the start of that sentence is pretty much a statement. but then by adding the 好不好, it turns it into a suggestion.
That's it. 好不好？周末出去玩好不好？ And we get quite like a response, which is
随便.
now this is quite an indifferent response, right? 随便 can be translated into many things, but what it essentially means is anything will do, anything goes. It's completely up to you. So it can be translated as whatever, sure, fine, 随便.
Now, I think at the start of the show we said that it was a bit rude, and obviously if you're with a close friend and you're just chatting, this is perfectly fine to use, and you're going to hear it very often. But be careful if someone you don't know, or maybe it's in a different situation, asks you a question, don't just respond with 随便, because it shows
whatever.
you've not really thought much about their question.
And actually, as a matter of fact, as someone that has to do a lot of the office lunches, there's nothing worse than being, 哎，我们今天要吃什么呢？
What do we want to eat today? And everyone just goes,
随
whatever.
便，随便很难买，好不好？ It's so difficult to buy whatever. So it's like my worst response. Never say 随便 to me.
Now, after receiving such a good response from the first question, they then go on to say, where would you like to go?
你想去哪里玩呢？你想去哪里玩呢？ You would like to go where to play or enjoy yourself. Now you might be wondering, why is it not a ma and a n instead? Do you know, William?
Okay, so when you use na, it's for suggestions and also softening the tone a bit.
Exactly. And ma is always a yes-no question, right? So this is not a yes-no question. It's like, oh, it's kind of open-ended, right? Where would you like to go? 你想去哪里玩呢?
Now we hear the second response that is very difficult to kind of move on from, and that is, I have no opinion.
没意见，没意见。Now, 意见 is the noun for opinion.
Okay, so because it's a noun, we have to have in front of it a kind of verb, and in this case, it's 没有.
对，没有意见。Now be very careful not to flip this around and say 没建议, because 建议 is the verb to give a suggestion. Now they're kind of similar in concept, but do be very careful. 意见 is opinion, and 建议 or 给建议 is the verb to give advice or give suggestions.
Okay, and remember the 有 is optional, so just in this case, it's 没意见.
So then, they go on to say, oh, well, I couldn't get a train ticket. I rented a car instead. Let's look at some keywords here. Now, 订. 订 is
The verb to book.
to book. And in today's case, they are unable to book the train ticket. So it's 订不到. 订不到. When you see this verb 不到 structure, you know that they were unable to do something. So let's say, 我吃不到. 我吃不到.
I'm unable to...
I wasn't able to eat something, right? So another example of this verb 不到, maybe you can replace it with the verb to buy. So that is
买
买不到. 我买不到我最喜欢吃的面. 我买不到我最喜欢吃的面.
I was unable to purchase my favorite type of bread.
Noodles.
Noodles. 面.
面, 对. So today they have rented a car instead. 我租 is to rent. 我租了一辆车.
So the measure word for a car is...
辆. 一辆车, 1 unit of car.
And they say that this method is kind of more convenient.
It's more convenient. So 这样, this way, 比较, comparatively, 方便. 方便 is convenient. Now, 比较 does mean comparatively, but in this case, when you see it in this kind of setting, it's always more, right? It's more convenient. 这样比较方便. 这样比较好吃. Tastes better this way, right?
So they've been really good here. They've been unable to get the train, but they've managed to rent a car. But what do they say in response to all of that information?
都可以. 都可以.
可以 is can, 都 is all. So it's all good.
It's all
whatever.
good, yeah, whatever. Both are okay. 都可以. When you hear this, there's almost an implication that there's two choices, right?
Okay.
When there's two choices, I'm like, 郭冷你想吃饭还是吃面?
Gwilym, would you like rice or noodles? And I would just be like, both are good, whatever. 都可以.
都可以, 没错. So it seems like their plans are pretty set right now. So then they go on to say, well, I'll pick you up on Saturday. So na is always, often you'll see it at the beginning of the sentence, kind of to give you a bit of time. Kind of like, then 我星期六 I Saturday 早上 morning 开车到你家接你.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drive my car to you.
Arrive 到
And the
你家 to arrive at your house.
And the verb 接.
接 is to pick up. 开车到你家接你. Now this sentence is also very, useful. Maybe you're picking up a friend from an airport. You can say, 那 then 我星期六早上开车到机场接你.
Okay, I'm going to drive my car to the airport and collect you.
没错.
接 is to pick up, but not to pick up, to collect someone.
That's right.
Now, she's finally come to a decision, but it's not a very good one. I've just decided I'm going to spend my entire weekend sleeping.
So they say 不要, I don't wanna do it in the end. 我刚刚 I just now 决定is to decide. Right? 我刚刚决定周末 we've seen before 我要在家睡觉.
Okay, so at home, 睡觉. So the place and then the verb. 在家
我要
睡觉.
在家睡觉.
Can you give me some sentences with 决定? So to decide.
我刚刚决定我今天中午要吃面.
I've just decided that today's afternoon I'm going to eat noodles. Lots of noodle sentences
你
today.
们可以随便吃，但是我决定我要吃面. You guys can eat whatever, right? 你们可以都可以，但是我做好决定了.
I'm sensing you're quite hungry at the moment. There's a lot of noodle-based sentences. And quickly, this 刚刚, it's really useful. It's kind of like a time preposition to mean I've just. You can just say 刚, right?
Yeah, 我刚吃面，
I've just eaten noodles.
我刚刚吃面，很好吃.
I've just eaten noodles. Really good.
Yeah, a lot of noodle-based things.
Okay, well, we've covered quite a lot. So how about we listen to the dialogue?
Okay.
周末出去玩好不好？
随便，
你想去哪里玩呢？
没意见。
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
都可以。
那我星期六早上开车到你家接你。
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
周末出去玩好不好？
随便，
你想去哪里玩呢？
没意见。
现在订不到火车票了，我租了一辆车，这样比较方便。
都可以。
那我星期六早上开车到你家接你。
不要，我刚刚决定，周末我要在家睡觉。
Alright guys, we hope you found today's dialogue useful. Even though you might not want to be rude and want to say whatever, anything's fine, it's definitely something you're going to hear a lot, especially at lunchtimes at offices.
And again, they're not all rude. It's all
Yeah.
dependent on the situation.
Yeah.
For example, 都可以 is just like, I don't mind
sure.
whichever you like. It's up to you, really.
Any option's fine, right? It's always about tone and what context you're in. Because you might be like, hey, Gwilym, blah, 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 blah. You go, 都可以啊，都可以.
Or you could just be like 随便 or 都可以. Now, let's quickly revise some important words.
Okay.
What is the verb to go out?
出去
Now, how do you say whatevs, don't mind?
随便
Now, what is the noun for an opinion?
意见 And in today's case, they don't have an opinion, so it's 没意见
And
I
then,
don't care.
Finally, how about to decide? I've finally decided something.
决定，决定。我刚刚决定，我要吃很大碗的面。
She's just decided she's going to have a huge bowl of noodles. Okay, well, I guess we should go out and have some noodles.
Yeah, I think
before
it's
you...
time. And if you guys behind the camera, Gwilym, if you guys tell me 都可以 or 随便, I'm gonna go nuts. So you better make how you better make your decision. 做好决定.
Okay, well, we hope to see you next week, and we hope you have a lovely week.
我们希望你喜欢我们今天的课程。我们下次见，再见。
再见。